In this lecture, we are going to continue with where we have left off in the previous part. Now, before I start, I just want to relate this photoelectric effect idea with other chapters. Okay, now here in the photoelectric effect equation, our basic equation is hc by lambda is equal to work function plus Ke max. Now here this kinetic energy, okay, can be related to other chapters as well. Okay, how it can be related to other chapters I am going to explain. Now here, if this ejected electrons, okay, are somehow subjected into uniform electric field, okay, if they are subjected to some uniform electric field like this. Now when it is subjected into some uniform electric field, what will happen? Our charge times potential difference is equal to change in kinetic energy. Now, if you have learnt electrostatics properly, this potential difference can also be written as Q times electric field. If this is some point A and if this is some point B, if your electron is moving between these 2 points, then Q times E into D will be equal to change in kinetic energy. Okay, so what will happen is you will have your electric field and your displacement both. Okay, I mean your particle if it is moving from A to B like this. Now from here you can relate this to your kinetic energy. Like this they can ask simple questions, okay, related to electrostatics. They could do this. Okay, don't worry, I will give you a question on this, then you will have some clarity. Next, one more thing that we can do is, okay, if there are infinite sheets of plates, in this infinite sheets of plates, okay, your field because of infinite sheet of charge, it is sigma by 2 epsilon naught. So if it is plus q charge and if it is minus q charge, okay, when two metal plates are kept like this, what will happen is between two metal plates, okay, if you have learnt, okay, electrostatics properly, okay, this part in my playlist I have added later. But if you have two metal plates like this, your electric field is sigma by 2 epsilon naught and sigma by 2 epsilon naught. Your electric field is, if you take plus 1 coulomb charge, because of left side part sigma by 2 epsilon naught towards right, your sigma is charge by area. This sigma is q by a value. Okay, sigma's value is q by a. So because of positive charge it is away, because of negative charge also it is towards right only. So q by 2a epsilon naught plus q by 2a epsilon naught, that is equal to q by a epsilon naught is your electric field. Okay, right? So like this you can bring this back into this equation and substitute it. Like this they can relate some basic questions to electrostatics. Don't worry, I will explain that. Okay, alright. Next, they can relate questions to electrostatics like this. Okay, indirectly this part is like links with other chapters. Okay, so with other chapters you can combine. Okay, right. Next, your next thing is your kinetic energy can also be rearranged. Okay, your kinetic energy can also be rearranged in terms of magnetic field. Okay, in magnetic field chapter, okay, in torque force energy chapter I have discussed an idea. So let me relate to that part as well. Okay, so in that if you have cyclotrons, if you remember your cyclotrons, in cyclotrons what will happen is, when a charged particle moves like this, your radius if it is r, okay, you are going to write r is equal to mb by bq. This can be written as under root 2m times kinetic energy. So that kinetic energy, Okay, with that, if charged particle is entering with kinetic energy Ke, so what will they do? Okay, these questions they will be linking like this. There will be a plate like this, you are projecting some light from this. Because of projection of light, electrons will be emitted out. So that electrons, if they are moving in uniform magnetic field, they will execute a circle of radius r equal to under root 2m Ke by bq. Like this they can relate with magnetic field chapter as well. Okay, so now let us try to relate this basic stuff and then do some basic questions. Okay, don't think too much, whatever I am explaining is more than enough and it will be helpful in solving the problems. Okay, right? So now let us start with simple basic questions. Basic things, all you can do it. Okay, so they can relate like this. So now let us start with an example. Your first question is, so your question is like this. Okay, so you have your question number 1 in this lecture is, your emitter plate and collector plates are like this. This is emitter plate, this is collector plate. There are two plates like this. Okay, and the collector plate is at 2 volt. That means indirectly your potential difference is equal to 2 volt. Okay, and emitter plate is made up of copper. This is your copper. Work function is 4.5 electron volt. Okay, this emitter is illuminated with 200 nanometers. Okay, for understanding sake, I am drawing the diagram. In the book they will give you, there is an emitter plate and its potential difference between emitter and collector is this much. Like that they will give you some language. Okay, 200 nanometer wavelength of light is actually falling on it. What is your question is, find minimum and maximum Ke. Find minimum and maximum kinetic energy. Okay, excuse me. Find minimum and max Ke of photoelectrons reaching collector. Okay, try give answer to this question. It's not tough, it is easy only. Okay, take a minute time, pause the video clip, give the answer. Trying answer is most important and required thing. So it's not tough at all. Hc by lambda is equal to work function plus Ke max. 1240 electron volt nanometer by 200 nanometer is equal to work function 4.5 electron volt plus Ke max. Keep this aside. So what is asked is, find minimum and maximum kinetic energy. So first calculate the kinetic energy of ejected electron. Okay, so get the Ke max value. Okay, nanometer will cancel off, 0 0, 2 10s, 2 62s. So 6.2 electron volt minus 4.5 electron volt is equal to Ke max. Your Ke max is, okay, 1.71 electron volt. Okay, right? Now take screenshot of this. Okay, or do the answer. Now from here it is very clear. Okay, what is the minimum maximum kinetic energy is asked. No, now observe very carefully. Now your charge times potential difference is Ke final minus Ke initial. Right? From electrostatics chapter, your charge times potential difference. This potential difference is 2 volt. Q value is 2. So 2 electron volt is equal to Ke final minus. So your initial kinetic energy can be 0 or it can be 1.71. So your final maximum kinetic energy reaching the collector, if it is asked, okay, this Ke max is what? Ejected electrons maximum kinetic energy. This is your ejected electrons maximum kinetic energy. It is not the kinetic energy that is reaching the collector plate. So now when this Ke max can be either 1.71 or it can be 0. It can have any value ranging between 0 or Ke max. So you can substitute to get the Ke final maximum value, substitute 0 here. To get minimum value, substitute in Ke initial, substitute 1.71 to get the minimum. Okay. So to get maximum value, substitute 0. To get minimum value, substitute 1.71. Okay. So this is how you are supposed to do the answer. Okay. I need space, so I will erase this. Hope you have understood the answer. Okay. So here ejected electrons maximum minimum is not asked. Okay. The kinetic energy reaching the collector plate is asked. So reaching the collector plate, your Ke max is 2 electron volt. Ke min is, okay, 2 electron volt. Sorry, I mean it is reverse. This Ke final is Ke initial plus. So 2 electron volt plus, it is reverse. Okay, one is getting minimum and other is becoming maximum. Sorry, it is reverse. Okay, so it is Ke min and Ke max is 2 electron volt plus 1.71 electron volt. Totally it is 3.71 electron volt. So like this you can simplify and then do the calculation. Okay, right. Next, so as I have discussed, okay, we will relate to the next part. Your second question is related to electrostatics. Okay, so there is a cesium metal. Okay, this is cesium metal. Work function is 1.9 electron volt. Okay, it is kept at a metal plate. From here to here the distance is 20 centimeter. Okay, there is a large metal plate. Okay, so there is a metal plate here. Okay, so this metal plate, okay, this metal plate, okay, having a charge density of sigma is equal to 8.85 into 10 power minus 9, okay, coulomb per meter square, which is facing the cesium surface. Okay, what is your question is a monochromatic light of wavelength 400 nanometers. That means from here light is coming whose wavelength is 400 nanometers. Okay, monochromatic light of wavelength 400 nanometer is incident on cesium surface. Find minimum and maximum kinetic energy of photoelectrons reaching the large metal plate. Okay, find minimum and maximum kinetic energy reaching metal plate. So this question is exactly similar to previous case, right? Now only thing is, okay, previously I have given the potential difference. Now you are supposed to calculate it. Okay, so from the previous chapter, I mean from the electrostatics chapter, you can calculate the potential difference. Your potential difference is electric field into D. Okay, what is your electric field? I have explained. Okay, so it is sigma by 2 epsilon naught because of left plate plus sigma by 2 epsilon naught times D. This is your electric field E. Okay, electric field because of infinite sheet of charge, that is sigma by epsilon naught is your potential difference. What is sigma? Charge per unit area. Okay, so the charge per unit area is given from this expression. You substitute in place of D 20 centimeter, you substitute 20 by 100. In place of epsilon naught, it is 8.85 into 10 power minus 11 or 12, whatever it is, you substitute, and sigma value is given. Get potential difference. Once you get the potential difference, what is it you are supposed to do? Okay, stick to the basics, nothing new will be there. Hc by lambda is equal to work function plus Ke of ejected electrons. Ke ejected, you get it. Okay, work function 1.9 electron volt. Hc value 1240 electron volt nanometer whole divided by 400 nanometer. You simplify and get Ke of ejected part. Okay, now once you get the potential difference, E times potential difference. Okay, so your Ke of ejected part, if you are doing everything correctly, you are going to get 1.2 electron volt. So E times potential difference is equal to whatever potential difference that you are going to get here. It is close to 20 volt. Okay, take the calculator and substitute the values. So your E times potential difference is equal to Ke final minus Ke initial. So for minimum maximum you can substitute. Your Ke final is E times delta V plus Ke initial. Okay, so minimum when this term becomes 0, maximum when this is 20 electron volt plus 0, this is your 20 electron volt plus 1.2 electron volt. So your Ke max this much, your Ke min is this much, so it is 21.2 electron volt. Okay, like this you are supposed to simplify. Now in this question, what is the key idea? Your key idea is, okay, they have related to this blue color part that I have written, they have linked with electrostatics. Okay, so if you know electrostatics, your physics part is just simple photoelectric effect equation. Okay, so in this chapter mostly questions will come from photoelectric effect only. Okay, so that way this chapter is easy and you don't need to find it tough. Okay, relax, take time, try to understand. Okay, pause the video clip, try the question, then you continue with the solution. Okay, to save some memory space, what is it I am doing is, I am pausing my video and then doing it. I am directly doing the solution, but you take time and then do it. Okay, don't be in a hurry. Alright, now next question. Okay, it is slightly tricky but same fundamental equations. Okay, what is your question is, there is a very strong atom in this, nucleus in the center, or you can take it as atom. Okay, now what is happening is, a very small metal plate is kept, okay, at some distance d. Okay, this is very small compared to the distance. Okay, very small, but for understanding sake I am drawing it little big. This is your metal plate. Okay, right? Now from a singly ionized fixed ion. Okay, so this is your ion. Okay, inside the ion you have your metal plate. Okay, now what is done is, a monochromatic light beam is incident on the metal. So what is it we are doing? We are incidenting this monochromatic light. Okay, so I am incidenting this light onto this metal plate. Okay, what is your question is, find, okay, maximum wavelength of light beam. Okay, what is your question is, okay, find max wavelength of light so that, okay, find maximum wavelength light so that some photoelectrons go in circuit. Some photoelectrons go in circuit. Okay, so look at the physics ideas, your job will be done. This question is also not at all tough, you will be able to do it. Come on, try it. So here what is the key idea means, For a body to go in a circle with velocity v at some distance, this part, if it is radius r equal to d, your centripetal force is equal to mv square by r. This must be your physics idea. Okay, so your ejected electrons must have how much value means it must have a value of, okay, it is a singly ionized nucleus. Just simply you can assume that singly ionized means its charge is E. So your centripetal force must be equal to mv square by r. Now if one electron is coming out like this, if you are trying to do the solution, your centripetal force is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught k q1 q2 by r square. So q into q by distance is d square, that is equal to your centripetal force, mass of electron into velocity of electron square by distance is d. From here get the value of v. Now your ejected electrons, from here you can give the value of v whatever and relate this to photoelectric effect equation. Your photoelectric effect equation is what? Hc by lambda is equal to work function that you have. Let us say work function of the metal is given as phi. So work function plus kinetic energy is half m v square. So you have, this is one equation, okay, and this is equation 2. So you have equation 1, equation 2. Okay, so try to solve these two equations and give your answer in terms of lambda. Okay, right? Come on, try it. It's easy only, it's not tough. I hope you have tried the question for sufficient amount of time. So your lambda, if you are doing it correctly, you should be getting hc by e square times 8 pi epsilon naught d plus phi. Okay, so E is charge of electron. Okay, now if you are not able to simplify this answer, trust me, your maths is very very weak. You need to develop your maths. Your physics part, if you are able to write these equations, your physics part is easy only. This is 1, this is 2. Two physics ideas. If you solve it, you are going to get the answer. Okay, come on, try this. I will give you time, don't worry, try this. Take time, understand what is happening. Okay, they will be linking different questions with different chapters. It appears as if it is tough, but trust me, it is not tough at all. It is easy. Take time, pause the video clip, finish off the solution. Doing answer till the end is important. If you are not able to solve this, your maths is bad. Keep practicing. Take it as a challenge and then do it. MPC people, you will be able to do it, most of you. Okay, if MPC, engineering entrance people, if they are not doing it, then you are in very very bad position. BPC people, you take it as a challenge and then try it. Next, all right, I think I have given sufficient amount of time. Now let's relate these questions with as I have told, let's relate some questions with magnetic field chapter. What is your question is, there is a metal, its work function is 2 electron volt. It is placed in uniform magnetic field like this. Okay, now what is happening is, when light is being projected, obviously electrons will be emitted out of this. Okay, now your electrons that are actually emitted out of this, okay, the electrons that are emitted out of this are bent into a circular arc, okay, and that circular arc's radius is r equal to 20 centimeter. Question is, find magnetic field B. Okay, right, and what is the wavelength of incident light is lambda equal to 450 nanometers. When 450 nanometer wavelength light is entered, is put into a is projected onto a metal plate, okay, so obviously ejected electrons, when you are doing this topic comes in cyclotrons, okay, when a charged particle is projected into uniform magnetic field, it goes in circular path, okay, so you can refer to my magnetic force torque energy playlist, okay, in that cyclotrons, if you look at it, you will get this, okay, so in that chapter it is there, okay, so they are basically linking your photoelectric effect with other topics, that's all, okay, nothing else new will be there, okay, come on, give it a try, I will help you out with the solution, don't worry, so come on, give it a try, trying is most important thing that is required. As I have explained, stick to your basics. Hc by lambda is equal to work function plus Ke max. Okay. Your radius r is equal to mv by vq. This mv can be written as under root 2m into Ke by b into q. So now here this is 1240 electron volt nanometer by 450 nanometer is equal to work function 2 electron volt plus get Ke max value, okay, from this calculate your Ke max. If you are doing it correctly, your Ke max from photoelectric effect equation should give you 0.76 electron volt, I suppose, okay. Now substitute this into this equation, r value you can substitute it as 20 by 100, mass of electron it is under root 2 times, mass of electron is 9.11 into 10 power minus 31 kg into 0.76 electron volt means 0.76 into, convert that into 1.6 into 10 power minus 19 and q value is equal to E. Substitute everything, you are going to get, okay, B value as close to 14.7 into 10 power minus 6 Tesla, okay. If numbers are not matching, don't worry, but look at the physics part, okay. So here what is it they are doing? They are linking two chapters. Idea 1 is photoelectric effect, idea 2 is cyclotrons. They have related this question to cyclotron frequency, okay. Like this you will have, okay, simple basic questions, you can do those. They can even relate to solenoid, magnetic field because of solenoid and all. So let's try to do a question on that as well, okay. Your next question is, okay, these questions you will be able to do it only if you know the magnetic field chapter as well, okay. So your next question is, your radiation falls on a target, radiation falls on a target within a solenoid of 20 turns per centimeter, 20 turns per centimeter, carrying current of 2.5 amperes, okay. Electrons emitted okay, move in a circle of large radius 1 centimeter. Find lambda of radiation, that is 1 bit. Next, yeah, and your work function of target is 0.5 volt. Work function of target is 0.5 volt. Okay, so try to give answers to this question. Okay, come on, try it. This question, trust me, it appears as if it is tough. But what is magnetic field because of a solenoid? It is mu naught into N into I. Okay, this is your first idea. Okay, he is testing from electromagnetism unit. Once that is done, your R is equal to mv by bq. Okay, so this mv is under root 2m into ke by b into q. Radius he gave it. Now your photoelectric effect equation, Hc by lambda is equal to work function plus ke. Okay, now get this b, substitute in this. Okay, work function we know it, ke you will get it from here because radius is known, mass of electron is 9.11 into 10 power minus 31. Okay, so from this get the ke value. Ke value you have to substitute and bring it here. Okay, so if you are doing everything correctly, your b value you should get it as 2 into 10 power minus 3 Tesla SI units. Okay, and your maximum kinetic energy from here it is 35 electron volt. Okay, right, your work function 0.5, so you will be getting answer as 35 nanometers. Okay, check whether you are getting these values or not. Mass of electron it is fixed 9.11 into 10 power minus 31 kg. Okay, substitute these values accordingly and then get the answers. Okay, mu naught value is 4 pi into 10 power minus 7 Henry meter. Small n is number of turns per unit length, per centimeter it is given, it is 20. Current value, I value is given as 2.5 amperes. Okay, mu naught is proportionality constant. Okay, so all are related to each other. Okay, basically more than this chapter he is trying to test your electromagnetism. Okay, basically questions can be linked with other parts as well. Okay, so in this question you have totally 3 ideas, idea 1, idea 2 and idea 3. Okay, look for links in the part, links in the calculation. If you are able to identify, your job will be done. Your work function value is in electron volts. Okay, in this question, even though it is not mentioned, by default you must know this. Okay, all right, now let's continue to the next question. Okay, now in your next bit, okay, what is your question is, there is an isolated metallic sphere of radius a. Okay, what is happening in this is a monochromatic light of wavelength lambda. Okay, so there is monochromatic light of wavelength lambda is incident on this. Okay, threshold wavelength is lambda naught. Threshold wavelength is lambda. Okay, question is find number of photoelectrons emitted before find number of photoelectrons emitted before emission of photoelectrons will stop. Okay, so this is a tricky question. How I will tell you, don't worry, but first honestly give it a try. Okay, after you try it, then if I explain the solution, it is better and you will be able to follow it. But without trying, if I explain the solution, you will just forget everything. So first give it a try, then you will get to know the solution. Give it a try. Sincerely, you must try what is given in the question. Pause the video clip, try the solution. So when n electrons are getting removed, your potential become kq by A is your potential. Your kq by A should be equal to your stopping potential. So q, if n electrons are removed, okay, your q is going to become q is equal to n into E. This q, okay, this q that you have here is going to become n into E. So your stopping potential from the photoelectric effect equation, I am equating it to this. So you will get the value of n. Okay. Alright, now let's continue. Now next part is, okay, you will have basic questions related to de Broglie's wavelength. This you will study in chemistry, but still in physics sake, how much it is required, I will explain. Okay, now what will de Broglie explain is, okay, your wavelength is lambda equal to h by mv, which is equal to h by your mv is, your kinetic energy is actually half m v square. If you multiply with into m by m, what will happen? So you are going to get it as momentum p square by 2m is equal to ke. Your momentum p is under root 2m ke. So your momentum h by p can be written as under root 2m into ke. So this is your basic de Broglie's wavelength equation. But what is this exactly, to be precise? Let me explain. Okay, now here what happens is, okay, what de Broglie gave is, for example, if you take this book, okay, so this book, if you call it as, okay, a particle or a wave, means it can be both. Okay, according to de Broglie, it can be both, okay, wave as particle also. If it starts moving like this with some velocity v, okay, if this book moves with v, or if some human being is moving with some velocity v like this, okay, there is a wave associated with it. Okay, a wave is associated with, okay, some momentum. Okay, if the momentum is very high, your wavelength is very less. If momentum is very low, your wavelength is more. Okay, So wave is associated with a body which has momentum. Wave is associated with body which has momentum. Okay, so this is what de Broglie explained. Okay, so he explained this, and based on this, okay, he did calculation for electrons, protons and neutrons. So we'll talk about that. Okay, first you copy this. Okay, if a particle is moving with some velocity, okay, it behaves as, there is a wave associated with it, and that wave's wavelength is given by this relation. This is what de Broglie gave. Okay, so for every moving particle there is a associated wave with it. Okay, so this is what de Broglie gave. Okay, so don't get confused. Okay, just remember this result, that is enough. Okay, don't think too much about this. How much is required, I am giving it, that's all. I am not wasting too much of time. Only the key formula that is required, I have given it. You just take that, that is enough. Okay, now for electrons and different subatomic particles, okay, for electrons and different subatomic particles, okay, we will try to calculate this de Broglie's wavelength. Okay, right, so let's do that now. So if you try to accelerate it by some potential difference of delta V, okay, for electron if you are doing, okay, you must remember these results. For electron if you are doing it, okay, lambda is equal to h by under root 2m into kinetic energy. For a charged particle, what is your kinetic energy? Under root 2m into kinetic energy is charge times potential difference or accelerating potential that you are applying, right? So in electrostatics, okay, this I have explained. Delta K is charge times potential difference. We are replacing your kinetic energy with charge times potential difference. This you must have studied anyhow in your in your chemistry as well. Okay, so for electron, okay, for electron, H value is 6.6 into 10 power minus 34. Mass value is 9.11 into 10 power minus 31 kg. Electron charge value is 1.6 into 10 power minus 19. You substitute everything, you are going to get your answer as, okay, lambda is equal to under root 150 by V Armstrongs, okay, which is equal to, okay, you must remember this to take the answer, 12.27 by root V Armstrong. Okay, that is for electron. Next, for proton, okay, for proton do the same calculation. Okay, for proton you substitute lambda proton is equal to h by under root 2 times mass of proton into kinetic energy, which is equal to h by under root 2 into mass of proton into E times charge of proton is anyhow plus E. So substitute everything, you will be getting it as 0.286 by root V Armstrongs. Okay, for protons, de Broglie wavelength when it is accelerated by potential difference of V, it is this much. Okay, similarly for deuteron, okay, don't worry, after doing this scientists gave these values, if not you can substitute it. Okay, it is 0.202 by root V Armstrongs. Okay, for alpha particle, okay, for alpha particle it is 0.101 by root V Armstrongs. Okay, I hope from electrostatics you are remembering this table. Okay, alpha particle charge is 2e. Okay, mass is 4 times mass of proton. Mass of proton 1.67 into 10 power minus 27 kg. Okay, so you can substitute all that. Okay, for electron, for proton, de Broglie wavelength is that much. Okay, now for thermal neutrons, okay, neutrons are not having any charge. So for neutral particles, what is your kinetic energy? Now we need to see even that part as well. Okay, so for neutrons or thermal neutrons, okay, for neutrons, okay, bracket I'll write thermal neutrons. Okay, so for neutrons they don't have any charge, but heat energy is nothing but your kinetic energy. So your for neutrons your kinetic energy is Boltzmann constant into temperature. Okay, it is because of temperature. Okay, your Boltzmann constant Kb is, okay, actually it is R value is 8.314 by Avogadro number, R by Na. Okay, Kb is Boltzmann constant. Okay, this is your Boltzmann constant. Okay, this in chemistry it is there, as well as in physics, thermodynamics you will study it. Okay, right? So for neutral particles, thermal neutrons as well as atoms also you can apply. Okay, for atoms and this you can substitute Eb equal to Kb into T. So your lambda is equal to H by under root 2m into kinetic energy. Your kinetic energy is H by under root 2 into m into Kb into T, where m is mass of each particle. Okay, right? So this is your wavelength associated with thermal neutrons. Okay, so like this basic questions you can do it. Okay, I don't need to explain much. Your Heisenberg uncertainty principle and all you will study in chemistry atomic structure. So I don't need to discuss in de Broglie's wavelength what is it and how it comes and all. Okay, so with this almost everything is done in the physics part. Okay, now only what part is left of is basic graphs part, that we will see in the next class tomorrow. Okay, that's all for today. Thank you. Let's continue further. Okay, so now what is de Broglie's wavelength explaining is, de Broglie's wavelength, it gives or it explains that with every moving particle or with every particle that is having momentum, there is a wave associated with it. Okay, right? So that is what de Broglie's wavelength, de Broglie's idea explains. Okay, now let us continue. Okay, now I did not discuss another important topic, which is called as your characteristics of photoelectric effect. Okay, your characteristics of photoelectric effect. Okay, so in that your first case is case 1, your effect of intensity. Okay, so this topic I have left off previously, and graphs part I did not do it properly. Okay, so I was waiting to do this at the end. Okay, because most of this is conceptual part. All right, now let us try to look at different graphs that we have. Now your current versus potential graph. Okay, stopping potential graph, I am trying to draw it. Okay, now every graph is directly from photoelectric effect equation only. Okay, how that is the case, let me tell you. Now your current is directly proportional to intensity, that you know it anyhow. Now here this is, okay, for this part, okay, you are changing the intensity but you are keeping target metal constant. Okay, so this graph, what is that you are doing, you are keeping your target metal, okay, this is constant. To this you are sending 3 colors. Okay, let me take greens. So one is light green, second one is somewhat thicker green, okay, and next one is further thick, okay. I hope it is visible, okay. So totally three different intensities, okay. For all frequency is constant as I have discussed previously, but what will actually change is your intensity, okay. So intensities are different. This is I, this is 2I, this is 3I, okay. More darker the color is, more is the intensity, okay. On green board, green color is not much visible. Now if you look at this target metal is same, right? So this target metal, it is same. If it is for example sodium or some cesium, okay, it is going to be same. So cesium metals work function will not change. So your graph will start at same point for all the three. Now coming to intensity, okay. So I told you previously very clearly, okay, with your intensity versus current graph, okay, it is like this. In this I told you, when intensity is more, photocurrent will increase, that I have explained. Now here more intensity indicates what? More number of photoelectrons are striking the surface, okay. More intensity will indicate more number of photoelectrons are striking the surface, okay. So now here, okay, it will be like this somewhat. For example, every second some 10 power for example 1000 electrons are coming. Out of this it is less intensity, right? Some 800 here, some 500, for example I am telling you, okay. So more intensity means more photons will strike and more more number of electrons will be emitting out, okay. Hope you are trying to get my point, okay. But for all this your kinetic energy Ke final will be same, okay. Number of electrons emitted will be different, but for all the kinetic energy is same. Your energy conservation equation, your Hc by lambda is equal to work function plus Ke max, ejected electrons kinetic energy. In this, for all the green colors, lambda is same. What is different is number of photons that are striking, okay. So in case where intensity is more number of photons will be striking the surface, okay. Hope you are getting what I am trying to explain, okay. So that is why your photo current is more in case of 3I, less next to I, then I, okay. Hope you are getting what I am trying to tell you, okay. All these green colors will have same frequency and wavelength, but what is the difference means brightness or intensity. That brightness, okay, intensity indirectly I am referring to this brightness, okay. More darker the color is, more number of photons will be striking the surface per unit time, okay. So this is your first graph and hope you have understood it properly, okay. Just remember this. In the books, if you see any questions, refer to this content, refer to my notes, look at the graphs and then try to explain it in your own terms, okay. Right, here your prerequisite parameter is your frequency of light is constant, all are same colors, okay. Only what is that you are changing, okay, intensity is what you are changing, okay. Every color will have its own wavelength, okay, but as long as it is green, what is the difference means your difference is in intensity or brightness, okay. Right, now let's move ahead to the next graph. Relax, take time, copy this thing down and then let's continue, okay. I'm moving forward. Hope you have copied it down. If not, pause the video and then copy it. Next, your second graph is case 2, your effect of frequency. Now this part is slightly tricky. Now to understand this better, okay, in terms of frequency, now let us stick back, okay. Your graph is, okay, what is that you are doing, I will tell you. Now you are keeping intensity of light fixed, okay. Prerequisite conditions, this is must, you should keep this in mind. Intensity is fixed means, okay, your frequency is changing, okay. Intensity is fixed, frequency is changing. That means what is that I am doing, okay. I am projecting one color of one type, second color of another type, and third color of another type. For all this, your frequency is same. Okay, your frequency is same, but okay, it cannot be possible for this thing for different colors, because every color will have its own wavelength. Your velocity is equal to frequency into wavelength. So your frequency, if it is changing, means okay, everything moves. As long as it is light, everything moves with speed of light c equal to f into lambda. Okay, what will actually change is your frequency and wavelength will change, okay, for different colors. But logically, if you are talking, okay, what is your intensity fixed means your frequency is actually changing. Okay, brightness you are keeping. Okay, here f1, f2, f3 are three different frequencies. Okay, and all these three, your intensity is same. Okay, intensity is same means same number of photons. Okay, indirectly what is happening, same number of photons are striking. Okay, same number of photons are striking the surface. Okay, same number of photons are striking the surface per unit time. Okay, per unit time. Okay, so same number of photons are actually striking per unit time, per unit area. Okay, so intensity fixed means that is the actual meaning, but your frequencies are different. Okay, now at a particular frequency what happens, okay, it will be, you are slowly increasing the frequency. Okay, frequency is slowly increased. Now still stopping potential is reached. Okay, till threshold frequency comes, there will be no emission at all, right? Photoelectric emission will require, okay, in this expression hc by lambda is equal to work function plus ke max. Okay, ejected electron, okay, this part if you are taking the limiting value, your work function is nothing but your hc by lambda or h times threshold frequency. So you must supply minimum of, okay, minimum threshold frequency is required. Okay, minimum threshold frequency is required for emission of electrons from this metal surface. Now when there is minimum required, okay, you slowly, if you are increasing, directly electron emission will not start. When the frequency touches this, which one, threshold frequency, your electron emission will start, and when electron emission starts, then you will have, okay, then you will have the photocurrent coming out. Okay, then you will have the photocurrent coming out of the surface. So now if you are trying to draw current versus, okay, if you are trying to draw current versus potential graph, okay, right, how many electrons, if same number of photons are striking, obviously what will happen, same number of electrons will be ejected out, right? So same electrons, so your current will be same for different ones, but what is the difference is, okay, on the same metal if you are doing, stopping potential graph will be same, but which is logically not possible, as I have told you. Now if you take, okay, first here don't get confused. Okay, if you draw onto the same metal, if you are projecting different colors, same intensity means same number of photons if they are striking. Okay, it doesn't matter if you are trying to draw, okay, if you are trying to draw your current versus this thing, okay, for each frequency ejected electrons kinetic energy will be different, but the number of electrons that are emitting will be same. So here photocurrent is going to remain same if you draw I versus V graph. Okay, provided you are projecting onto the same metal, and your stopping potential after you cross this, anyhow after you cross the stopping potential only you will get this graph. Okay, right, if you are taking potential on x-axis and your photocurrent on y-axis, okay, what is my point is, after you reach this stopping potential value, okay, after you reach this stopping potential value, okay, what will happen is your current will remain photocurrent will remain constant, okay, because you have kept intensity fixed, same number of what are there, same number of photons are striking and same number of electrons are ejected out. Okay, now in the books this case you will not have it, you will have a different case and different graph. What is that I will tell you. Okay, so according to what I have explained, keeping target metal fixed, this is the graph. Now what will happen is, let us consider other cases. Okay, right, first those who want to copy this thing down, you can pause the video clip and then copy down. Next case is, okay, what is it you are doing is, you are taking different metals. Okay, different metals in the sense, you have obviously different stopping potentials. Different metals will indicate different stopping potentials. So different stopping potentials, okay, different stopping potentials, okay, what will it do is, different stopping potential means this is different, this is different, this is different. Okay, right. So let us say stopping potential of this is Vs1, stopping potential of this is Vs2, stopping potential of this is Vs3. Okay, now for enhancing the understanding, okay, let me take a different thing. Okay, right. So you are taking a different graph. Okay, right. So now this is this thing. Okay, so three different things, but once again, okay, target metals are different but same number of same intensity. Okay, here what is my graph, it is same intensity. Same intensity means I told you same number of photons are striking, so obviously same this thing will be there, but ejected electrons kinetic energy will be different here. This is Ke1, this is Ke2 and Ke3. Previously also ejected electrons kinetic energy will be different, but same intensity indicates same number of incident photons. 100 photons if they are striking, here also 100, here also 100. So obviously if 100 photons are striking, so 100 electrons are coming out here, 100 electrons are coming out like this, your 100 electrons are coming out of this. Now when 100 electrons are coming out like this, okay, if you try to draw graph, okay, of your current versus stopping potential graph, okay, what happens is, okay, now your photo current will be same, I told you, because same number of electrons, your Q is equal to Ne by T. So in 1 second how many are striking, how many photons are striking, that many electrons are coming out. So because I have kept intensity same, okay, obviously what will happen, finally your photo current will be same. Okay, same number of electrons, because they are being ejected out, same amount of current will come out of the surface. Now if you look at the, okay, if you look at the, okay, potential part, okay, if you are looking at the potential part, stopping potential, your stopping potential for first metal, let us say it is negative, I mean some value here. Okay, now why is that I am keeping negative means, your stopping potential, okay, is, okay, I mean it is a negative value according to the logic. Okay, so your H times incident is equal to H times threshold frequency plus E times stopping potential. Now when ejected electrons kinetic energy are looking at it, this stopping potential, if you send it to other side, your HF minus this thing, you are going to get E times Vs is equal to H times F naught expression like this. Now don't worry, so we'll put it through maths. Next graph if I give you, you will get it. Okay, so your stopping potential is actually applied in reverse manner. So your Vs1 stopping potential of first metal will be this way, your stopping potential of second will be here, stopping potential of third will be here. Let us say there are three different ones. Okay, don't look at the colors part, there are three different metals whose stopping potential is some Vs1, Vs2, Vs3. Now for this part if frequency is F1, for this part if frequency is F2, for this part if frequency is F3. Okay, now your F3 is greater than F2 greater than F1. Why I will tell you. Now your incident frequency HF incident is equal to your work function plus E times stopping potential. Now more is the magnitude of stopping potential, more is the threshold frequency, right? So your work function anyhow, okay, it is changing, but to balance this, these two should be, because same number of electrons are coming out, Okay, so to balance this, it should be like that. Okay, right? So hope you have understood what I have explained. Okay, if you have any doubts, you can just let me know. You can come to me. Right? Next. Now your next case is, okay, third case, case 3. Okay, your third case is, your case 3 is, okay, your third case is your effect of target metal. Okay, your effect of target metal is your next case. So your effect of target metal is, okay, right, your accelerating potential or stopping potential, if you keep it on that point, and your frequency if you keep here. Okay, in the books it will be some new symbol. Okay, now if you try to take your basic photoelectric effect equation, now what happens, you observe carefully. Now H times F incident is equal to your work function, let us say it is some W or some phi. Okay, in some books it will be W, in some books it is phi plus E times stopping potential. Alright, now from here your stopping potential, if you divide it with E or E times Vs, if you keep, it will become Hf plus phi. Stopping potential is equal to Hf by E plus phi by E. Now if you look at this graph, this is y. Now what is your m means? Okay, your slope is, okay, it is h by e. Okay, y equal to m times x plus c. Okay, so your graph is y equal to mx plus c. Alright, now if you are drawing your potential versus frequency graph, you are getting a graph like this. Now when x is 0, okay, when x is 0, sorry, this is minus phi. Okay, it is not plus. Okay, it is minus. Okay, minus. Okay, right? So now it is in the form of y equal to mx minus c. Now if you look at this graph, y equal to mx minus c graph will be how it is means. Okay, your graph will be, okay, your c is intercept. Okay, c is called the intercept. When x is 0, how much is y means? When x is 0, your y is minus c, right? So I will draw this x-axis little top so that I can draw the graph and explain little more. So my point is, you have the graph like this. Okay, you have the graph like this. Okay, right? Now this is your threshold frequency. Alright, now here what happens, let me tell you. Now you have your first metal. Okay, now when x equal to 0, y equal to minus c, right? So for first metal, okay, look at this equation of y equal to mx minus c. If you substitute x equal to 0, your y is minus c. And if you substitute y equal to 0, what is that you are getting? You are going to get, when y is 0, your x is equal to c by m. Okay, when x is 0, y is minus c. When y is 0, x is equal to c by m. Now in this graph, okay, let me tell you, this c by m is indirectly this part. This white color line is c by m. Okay, and this part is equal to minus c. Now indirectly, that is for different metals it will be different. Okay, your c is nothing but your work function, right? Okay, your c is your work function. Okay, it is below x-axis. I don't need to keep minus sign once again, but it is like this for a general curve. Now if there are two different metals, okay, if there are two different metals, what will happen is, okay, for different metals, for first metal, this is metal 1. Okay, this is metal 2. For different metals, the intercept will be different because your work function is different. So this part is indirectly W1 by E. This part it is W2 by E. Okay, right? And for the first part, it is your slope is h by m. This angle, if you are taking theta, your tan theta is equal to h by e. Okay, tan theta, that slope is same for both the metals. Okay, so your graph will be like this and it is equal to h by v. Now if you compare work function, okay, for which function work function is more means your work function of metal 2 is greater than work function of 1, which is pretty obvious from the graph. Okay, so you must have very good understanding of graphs to learn this thing as well. Okay, right? So this is your effect of target metal. All right, now next let us try to draw a graph between, okay, maximum kinetic energy and frequency. Okay, right? So this is effect of target metal. Okay, right? Next, I mean, you can look at this graph and explain. Okay, look at this basic equation. Okay, to explain anything, look at this basic equation. Okay, I am putting it with help of a blue color box. Look at this blue color box, concentrate on this and try to finish off. Okay, all right. Next, let's continue further. Your case 4 is, your next case is case 4. Okay, your stopping potential versus your frequency graph, if you take, okay, frequency or nu. Now we have seen that your graph is like that. Okay, now for which one your frequency is more, such kind of stuff you can give it. Now I want to draw a graph of K max versus V. Okay, this we have done just now. Sorry, case 4, this we have done it, sorry. Next is your K max and frequency. Now just look at this. H times F is equal to how much? Your work function, if you are keeping target metal constant, plus K max. So it is in the form of y equal to mx plus c. Right? So this is your y. This is your h. F minus W is equal to K max. Okay. So now looking at this, your K max is Y, your intercept is C, this is M, this is X. Okay. Right. Your Y is equal to Mx minus C. Okay. Now when X equal to 0, Y is minus C. When Y equal to 0, okay, your X is C by M. Now if you try to draw a graph for this part as well, minus C. When X is 0, you will get point on Y axis, and when Y is 0, X equal to C by M means this is the part. Your slope gives tan theta is equal to Planck's constant H. So one more graph you take, you will get it like this. Okay. Now coming to your work function, your intercept is work function W1, this is W2. So this is W1, this is W2. Similar graph exactly. But in the previous graph, your slope gives you H by E, here it gives H. Your intercept on Y axis it is C, now here it is work function. Okay, previously it is work function by E. Okay, so stick to this basic photoelectric effect equation, you will be able to tick the answer properly. Okay, so don't worry at all. Okay, so it is easy only, it's not tough. Okay, you will be able to do anything, any question that is given. Okay, right. So with this we will stop this lecture. That's all for in this chapter. Okay, next I will give out summary in a separate short video, and what I want you to do is watch that summary and then we will start solving doing the problem solving sessions. Okay, so conceptually from my side everything is done. From your side you can directly start doing HCRMA or any reference book that you have. Okay, so slightly anywhere multi-idea questions from other chapters like calculation of magnetic field because of solenoid, circle or cyclotron frequency radius, or from electric field he can relate these charged particles. Okay, but except from those ideas, rest of everything is covered. Even on those basic ideas I have covered basic problems. Some more we will do it in the problem solving session. Okay, alright, so that's all for today. Thank you.